ignorance is always quoting anecdotes, like proverbs and sayings made to make you ponder. But I reckon he's got his brains in his behind. Because he says out of sight is out of mind. Then he says absence makes the heart grow fonder. I mean, it's all look before you leap, and as you sow, so shall you reap. And of course, for every Jack there is a Jill. Oh, he says, now you see it, now you don't. That was created by a bloke while he was watching a nudist rolling down a hill. I tell you, when I first got my place, the garden was a disgrace. It looked just like a blooming wilderness. Well, I worked day and night until I got it right, until I had cleared up the rotten mess. He comes past one day, sees my floral display, notices the lawn all newly mown. He says it shows what God can do with a little help from you. I says, you should have seen it when he had it on his own. One day he comes in, the dog and duck, surveys the scene like he's Lord Muck. Then he tries to impress our chubby barmaid, Myrtle. He says, I'll have you know, my friends, there is a destiny which shapes our ends. She says, well, I'm putting mine in an 18-hour girdle. He carried on just like he started. He says, a fool and his money are soon parted. I says, well, how did they get together in the first place? He says, once more, I'll tell you this. Ignorance is bliss. I says, well, how come you got such a miserable-looking face? He says, each man to his trade, for we are not all made the same. Evil Knievel is glad when he misses his last bus. I says, I once saw a nun fall down and she landed on top of a clown. Would you call that virgin on the ridiculous? He says, start each day with a smile, and in a little while, I said, someone will say, who the hell are you laughing at? He says, I merely want to say, Rome was not built in a day. I says, now, what the blooming heck do you mean by that? He says, well, look, if I was to put a stud bull in a pasture that was full of cows and sort of let him kick over the traces, next day I wouldn't find a lot of little calves. I says, no, but you'd find a lot of contented faces. You see, the more that he got tricky, the more we took the mickey. He says, now, here's a saying with which you must agree. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I said, it can also make him father of a large family. He said, it is better to have loved a short, fat girl than never to have loved at all. I says, and if the people in Spain aren't all Jewish, then why do they call their son Saul? I says, here, guess this proverb, mate. There's this mother of 8 sewing up her old man's pyjama pants with twine. I says, right, now, what do you got? He says, waste not, want not. And I says, no, a stitching time saves 9. That had him. He don't come in here no more. Well, all them sayings was a bore. I mean, nowadays, they can't stand up to inspection. I mean, you can fool some of the people all of the time, or you can fool all of the people some of the time. I mean, either way, it'll keep you in power till the next election. Of course, I agree with never put off till tomorrow what you can do today, because if you do, that may lead to sorrow. Because, you see, if you do it today and you like it, you can do it again tomorrow. And, of course, do unto others and then run. That's practiced throughout the land. And, of course, ladies are like pianos, because when they're not upright, they're grand. And it's a stiff neck when a short skirt passes by, eh? And people in fast blouses shouldn't show bones. And one could turn most of the background.